Hello and welcome. In our last week's class of history, we were discussing about the different methods adopted by the East India Company for the expansion of power in India. Now, today, I first want you to focus on all these three maps given in your textbook. Now, let's see this first map. This is a map of India of 1797. The territories under the British rule are shown in yellow color and areas not under the British rule are shown with red color. As you can see, British East India Company established their power only in Bengal, and they extended it up to the present day Bihar and the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh, and then Coromandel coast you can see, and then little Madras, and then in the south also very small territory under their control. From here they started. Then now just focus on this second map. This is a map of India of 1840, and you can see the expansion of power of East India Company in India. They have started expanding their power, as you can see, from the northeastern side, from Calcutta to Benares, and then to towards northwest Delhi and other surrounding areas. And this whole belt is a very fertile belt of Ganga Jamuna Doab region. It is very good for agriculture as well as for trading also. It is very important. And you can see in the southeastern region to southwest region up to Bombay, the whole this triangular India, they have taken control of. They started from the east, but now you can see their control from eastern part of Coromandel coast to Madras, then coming towards west till Bombay. The whole important area, as you can see, the total coastal area or the coastal line of triangular India was now under the control of British East India Company till 1840. And now we will focus on the third map given in your book, and this is a map of 1857. You know why we have taken the map of 1857? Because the Great Revolt held in 1857, which we also call as the First War of Independence, and which ended the control of East India Company in India, and Indian territories passed into the hands of British Crown directly after this. And you can see here that in 1857 they have taken control of such a vast territory of India, as it is shown in yellow color. Almost you can see from north to south and from west to east, all important area, everything, major part of Indian territory totally directly under the control of British rule. Okay, so now as you can see here, they have extended their power so much. Now the big question is how they established and maintained control over such a vast area. And for this we will focus on that what new administrative changes they have done, or they have set up a new administration to have control over such a vast area. Warren Hastings, who was the Governor General of India between 1773 to 1785, played a very significant role in the expansion of control of company's power over India. The British territories were broadly divided under three presidencies at that time: the presidencies of Bengal, Madras and Bombay, each ruled by the governor And this post was given only to British, no Indian governor. And the supreme head of the governors were known as the Governor General, the highest post of East India Company in India was the post of Governor General. Okay? Then administrative reforms in this sphere of justice was also introduced at that time. So Warren Hastings, the first Governor General, introduced many reforms in the judicial system also. In 1772, a new system of justice was introduced. Under this system, at district level, they established two courts. One, a criminal court, Faujdari Adalat, another, a civil court, a Diwani Adalat. Now, Faujdari Adalat was under the Qazi and a Mufti of that time, but it was under the supervision of collector also. But the Diwani Adalats were under the European district collectors. Diwani, as you know, it is the Adalat which deals with all money related matters, revenue, everything comes, taxation, everything comes under it. So it was directly under the European district collector. Then Maulvis and Hindu Pandits interpreted Indian laws, because personal laws also come under civil or the Diwani Adalats. So these were interpreted by the Maulvis and the Hindu Pandits of that time. The major problem was that the Brahman Pandits gave different interpretation of the local laws based on different schools of Dharam Shastra. So to solve this problem, in 1775, 11 Pandits were asked to compile a digest of Hindu laws to bring uniformity in the law, and N.B. Halhed translated this digest into English. Then by 1778, a code of Muslim laws was also compiled for the benefit of European judges. Under this, under the Regulating Act of 1773, a new Supreme Court was established. And then the Court of Appeal was also, which is known as Sadar Nizamat Adalat, was also established at Calcutta. So all these important changes we have seen was done in the field of administration by the company in India. So now company want to introduce some very important changes in the army also. But before we see that, we have to focus on that who were the important officials during British rule. So at district level, collector was the most important official, and he was helped and supported by the judges, police officials and darogas. So now we will see what important changes were introduced by East India Company in army. So they, initially Mughal, like the Mughal successors of Awadh and Banaras, British also started recruitment of peasants into their armies and trained them as a professional soldiers, and they were known as Sipahis. But as the British, they were ruling, they were, having control of other parts of the territories in different areas of the world. So in Afghanistan, Burma and Egypt, their soldiers were using muskets and matchlocks. So now British army need to, provide these to their soldiers also. So they introduced muskets, heavy guns used by infantry soldiers, and matchlocks, an early type of gun in which the powder was ignited by a match to their soldiers. And with this, they also introduced a uniform military culture, which was new for Indian soldiers or the sipais of that time. And it means European style training and drill and discipline. So Indian soldiers were not ready for it because they have, lot of reservations as related to their caste and religious feelings, and they could themselves, they cannot, it was not easy for them to consider themselves only as a soldier, not as a member of community. What all this resulted into, we will find out in our next chapters. And with this, we come to an end of our today's class. So, East India Company was transformed from a trading company to a colonial power in India. With this, we end today's class, and till we meet again, stay home, stay healthy, and stay happy.